And hello, everybody. Welcome back to the R&R show. My name is Ruel Gaviolo, joined, as always, by Chris Shores. Chris, how the heck are you, my friend?
I'm good. I was pointing at the screen and then I went to wave, but my hand was still at a point, and I just ended up doing this.
Oh, I like that. No, no, no.
Ah, hello. And
Hello.
that's what happened. So that's the sort of day it is going to be, I suppose.
Yes. Well, that's okay because it's par for the course here. Thanks to SailNet for resubscribing. They've been subscribed for 3 months. Folks, did y'all know it is September here on Twitch? So you get 25% off any subscription to the Rahdo Runs Through channel. And what's great is now is like a bonus perk for all of you subscribing and supporting the channel here on Twitch. When you subscribe, you get access to a link of 20 different run-through videos that Richard and Jen have done. They're not seen elsewhere, so you have exclusive access to these videos. If you would like to subscribe, feel free to use your Amazon Prime account. You get one free per month, and if you do subscribe with your own money, you get 25% off. Either way, you get access to those videos. So I'll just whisper the link to you after the show, folks, if you subscribe now during the show, and that link will take you. Again, we ask that you don't share it with anyone else, just for the people who support the channel. We appreciate you. And Chris says needs to be louder. Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, no,
okay.
it's just because we were going to whisper the link to you. Really.
Oh, that's right.
I was in charge of whispering the link, and so that's why we preemptively put my levels a bit lower in order to get that true ASMR whisper action going on.
And Selnet does ask, do we really want Chris louder?
Yeah, I think I'm loud enough. Generally, I just scream on my daily basis. I think you're right.
Nice. Chris, I also noticed, I forgot to say this before we went on air, but a little more clean shaven now that
a little more clean shaven.
You're back home.
Over.
Yeah,
I'm back home in Toronto. I was away for the last 3 months doing a show. I shaved off my face, and the reason I did is because I shaved off my face. I'll see if I can get a picture, because I had a big beard, but for the last show we did an unrehearsed version of Midsummer Night's Dream, and so I shaved it into like a pointed goatee. And then I dyed it a bit with like mascara. Let's see if I can get it to focus on.
Oh my gosh! Whoa!
Yeah, that's what that's what it was.
That is a great disguise. I don't even recognize you. Okay, that one's a little blurry. Let's see it focus.
Yeah.
Okay, there. Wow.
That was
amazing.
Yeah, that was my costume. That was my costume for the final night.
That is great.
I know, and I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it for some videos. And then every time I looked in the mirror, I would go, "Man, you're handsome." And then the next time I'd go, "Oh, what is on your face?" I was real looking forward. I wanted it gone, so it got gone. That was
nice. Ving James has just Vincent MS has just subscribed with Prime. Thank you for that, Vincent. Be sure to whisper us here. Just whisper and say, hey, I just subscribed. You will whisper. You will get that link to the. You got a free whisper from Chris Shores, folks. How awesome is that? We will send you the link to the Rahdo Runs Through exclusive playthrough list for y'all. IT Omar Hernandez is here. Shadies is here. Hetrika is here. Thank you, friends. Andrew Scott is here. Good to see everyone. Welcome. We got a first-time chatter. We also have Feld fans. So thank you, friends, for hanging out with us. We've got a great show for you today. We are doing our top 12 games if we had a budget of $300 US. And this is going to be a really interesting one. I really got into this. I struggled a little bit because I wasn't sure, Chris, if I was going to do the whole, do I get one big game and a bunch of little games?
Yeah, and then some small ones.
Or do I? Yeah, so I was really having trouble with that because there's so many games out there that are affordable, but then when you get that, we each have basically $100 US each, the three of us, and that's sort of tough to do. I struggle with it a little bit.
Yeah. I borrowed $1.90 from someone. I don't know who, but I did.
Thank you, kind stranger who lent Chris $1.90.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I mean, now that you're back home, I'm sure you're a little more relaxed and hopefully you're rested. I mean, you had a 3-month gig there, and I'm sure it was a lot.
Yeah, it was nice to come back. We were, it's always a thing whenever you're traveling, is getting everything sorted, get everything resettled, looking around and realizing, oh yeah, I don't have room on my shelves for the new acquisitions that have come in. That was one of the main things. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna need to do a calling video pretty soon or
Oh,
something along those lines to like
nice.
trim some of the fat and get some of it ready to rid of, to make space for the things that
Yeah.
arrived in my absence.
So
But
the things that
luckily the house
arrived,
was still here. So,
right? So the things that arrived were
yeah.
those things you'd already, backed on Kickstarter or whatever, and just showed up, or were these things also that you were ordering while you were on
Oh
the
yeah,
road?
you mentioned backed on Kickstarter, and I realized the things that I have that are fulfilling very soon haven't arrived. Oh no,
Uh
oh no. um, no, a couple just things for review mostly, like things that
Okay.
I had said yes to, and then hadn't made its way to, because I got most of the stuff sent to Halifax. I got a few things
Okay.
sent to Halifax that I was playing over the summer, like City of the Great Machine,
Mm,
which is really good. I still need to
nice.
play it more before I put out a review, but like really enjoyed that one. Super fun. It's like one versus all, and it's like hide and seek
Oh,
style.
okay.
Yeah, it's trying to anticipate your opponent's movements. And my favorite part is that I love when rule books do this, when they put something in the rules that are like, okay, now you cannot refer to each other as your real person names, but you must be either the Great Machine or the Revolutionary. So like it's like, sorry, so the Great Machine over there, what are you thinking, Great Machine? You know what I mean? Or like,
That's
and it
great.
says, as a specific rule, you have to like call each other by your character names. And
That
like,
is hilarious.
I,
Oh, wow.
you, spoiler alert, you don't have to, but you have to, right? So I love when games sort of do that, and it just kind of sets a nice tone and sets a
Yeah.
nice scene
Oh, that's
for
fun.
stuff. Yeah,
I've not
yeah.
played it yet,
So
but again, you're like
mhm,
a few people have told me really good things about it, so that's great that
yeah.
you enjoyed it as well. I'm looking forward to trying that one. Now, am I thinking of the right game? Is this a Table Hog, the Great Machine, or am I thinking of a different one? I feel like this is
You might be thinking of a different one.
okay.
It's not too bad
Okay.
because all it is there's like 9. It's on the other shelf, so I can't go get it.
Uh,
But there are 9 like districts basically, and a
okay.
district just houses.
Hmm.
They're modular, so that you can shift the board as you're playing. So
Okay.
it's like a steampunk style game, and so you
Hmm.
can go to a location that can shift a district around, so that's closer to your team and further away from the other team.
Nice.
But yeah, it's pretty good. Like, wouldn't take up more space than Ticket to Ride. Let's
Oh,
say,
okay. Okay, then yeah, I was
right?
thinking a totally different game then.
And
Awesome.
potentially even less. Um,
Nice. Awesome.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. The footprint itself, I think the middle footprint's smaller,
Not
and then you
bad.
just
All
have some of
right.
your own like stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So very very manageable for
Awesome.
sure.
So now that you're back, you're rested, relaxed.
Mhm.
Overall, how did the shows go? Everything went well. Hopefully, there's no disasters. I mean, you looked really handsome there, man. So I figured everything went well.
It went pretty well. I was exceptionally proud of Unrehearsed Midsummer Night's Dream. That was our final
Yeah.
performance. That's what the goatee was for. I was Bottom. He's the one who turns into a donkey,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, it was. I was really happy with every bit that I planned. Just hit really well with the audience, and
Awesome.
I had some people who knew me from YouTube, and specifically from YouTube,
Oh my
like
gosh.
come to see the show who are in the area as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout
That's
out to Hillary.
oh, I love that.
Yeah, she was like, oh yeah, I watched your channel, and you mentioned that you were doing it a bunch, and she was like 45 minutes away, and so she came in, and then
Oh,
she saw the
wow.
family show, and she's like, oh, this is great for kids. It is good for kids, and so she brought her family, and then she brought her
Oh,
family back, and like all her younger kids to see it. So that was really cool, and
that
it's
is
also like
awesome.
it's lovely to be able to meld those two worlds, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because and just be like, yeah, my board game people. So that was good.
Board games and
Um,
Shakespeare. Who would have thought
yeah,
it, folks? Oh, that's
who would have
great.
thought?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that.
my favorite bit that I planned. I had 2 good bits that really hit. My favorite bit is I found 3 sunglasses that were the same,
Mhm.
and so I came on wearing the 3 sunglasses, and I'd be like, you're best to call them one by one according to the script, and I'd take off a pair of sunglasses, and I have the same pair of sunglasses on underneath, and so the audience just thought it was one time, and
Yeah.
then when I did it the second time, it slayed
That's
the house down.
awesome.
I was like, perfect. That's what I wanted. I had them on my side, and
That's
then all my other
great.
stupid bits. And then we have we have a golf cart because it's in the park, so it's like a 6-minute or 10-minute walk in.
Mhm.
So for people who have mobility issues, they have a little golf cart that can go pick up people. And so you can bet that I drove the golf cart onto the stage after I'm emerging from the woods. I'm like, where are these lads? Where are these hearts? And I just drove it right up there, and the audience just lost it. And
Brilliant.
it was great. It was really great.
That's
it was a lovely time.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Chris. That's so good.
Yeah.
Now you've got some time to rest up before you travel again at the end of the month for a big event as well.
Before we see each other.
Yes.
Before WSBG. Yeah. That's
WSBG. I was thinking it was
now.
a get together for Tacos El Gordo. Or am I thinking
You're right. Sorry, yeah. Our main goal is the Tacos El Gordo family reunion.
Yes.
It's the anniversary special. We're hitting up Tacos El Gordo.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
I can't wait.
And then I think the World Series board game is happening on it. I guess we can check that out.
That's sure. What the heck?
We can look into it. It's fine.
I'll be in a food coma by then, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So talk about a little bit about the WSBG, Chris. You've been involved with it, and it's a big event. We're coming up in a couple of weeks here, and we are going to see each other.
Yeah. We're going to see each other. We're going to hang out. I'm excited. Ticket sales are now closed. You can get all the tournaments and stuff organized. So if you didn't buy a ticket, well, you missed out. Although I think you can still buy like guest passes or like outer ring tournaments at the door.
Okay.
Like those sorts of tickets can be sold at the door, but it's just for like the main tournament that tickets are closed.
Right.
Where they need to get the tournament solidified, right? They need to know the numbers and they need to like plan out the heats and whatever.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between outer ring and inner ring for those that don't know?
Oh yeah. So it's really weird nomenclature. But the ring events are where you can win your big Super Bowl championship ring. They're part of the main tournament. There's 16 of these, and so if you win one of the 16, you win an awesome ring, and then you go into the semifinals where you play a random game out of the 16 that you haven't won. And that's the structure. And then if you win that, then you're onto the final table where you can win $25,000, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
And then if you don't feel like being that competitive, even though it's not really that competitive, people are super nice. It's awesome. It's a great vibe. But you can have like these lower stakes tournament, the outer ring tournaments, which you could that's where Dice Throne is. That's where the Red Cathedral is. That's where Crokinole is going to be, and a whole bunch of other different tournaments. I think you're playing in like, and some of the main ones have smaller ones too. I feel like you're playing in a couple of those. I forget Azul. I feel like you're.
I'll be in the Azul ring, and was it Cascadia? I forgot what else I signed.
I think it might have been Cascadia. Yeah.
I'll have to check the schedule.
Yeah. The just the casual. It's more casual. You can win like a coupon for next year, right? You can win your entry into the event next year. So like just sort of fun stuff, and also fun if you get kicked out in the first round and you still want to like compete in something and have that sort of consolation prize. It's nice to have those there. And if you don't want to do that, then we got the whole Dice Tower West library to just play games with.
I was just gonna say that library, folks. If you have not seen it, it's immense and it's pretty awesome. pretty cool. So I know I'll be checking it out. I always like to, whenever I go to Dice Tower West or any of these conventions, I always like to check out the libraries because there's always going to be those games that you cannot find anywhere else. And I can't wait to do that. And folks, if you're in Vegas or if you're going, let us know, and love to say hi. And we will be. It's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. Now, that being said, the last time I was in Vegas, Chris, I came down with COVID, so I don't want to come down with COVID this time. So.
Well, you know what? When we did WSBG, or the first year last September, we had 0 cases of COVID.
Awesome.
0.
Okay.
And that was like September 2022. I don't want to jinx it, but it was pretty exceptional to me because usually in those big events, right? Like it happens, and now now it's a lesser impact than it has been in the past, right? It's just like another cold because generally people are vaccinated and they don't die, but
exactly. And so I'm hoping that this coming event will be the same as far as cases of COVID. I'm going to be a little safer. Actually, I'll be a lot safer this time, but I am looking forward to it. I cannot wait. Folks, over on my YouTube channel, I've been doing my World Series Wednesdays where I train. I coming out tomorrow. I trained last night. I recorded it last night where I played Cascadia. So I'm
Nice.
gonna be. You'll see. I mean, I thought I did okay. It was just a solo game, and what's really cool is I don't know if you know this, Chris, but Cascadia there is an online implementation that you can play for free, and it's terrific. It's really just really well done. It's really straightforward, and it'll get you into the game and get you. It's easy to learn the game from this online implementation, and I enjoy playing it
Is
every
it
now
on
and then.
Board Game Arena, or are you talking about
No,
a different one?
no, it's off of well, check out my video, folks. At Dropping Toronto. There's the link in the chat in the description there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to check it out to find out.
yeah, exactly.
We're not
I
gonna
totally
tell
forgot
you
where it's
anything.
hosted. Yeah, but yeah, I've been doing that. Dropping. I'm doing live streams. I haven't live streamed the last week and a half just because my voice has been really weird. Like I don't know what it is during my normal during like this time of day. My voice has been going in and out. I don't know. It's just I don't know if it's the weather or whatever. So I haven't been live streaming as much, and I've been recording stuff late at night, which I feel like my voice is better then. So right now I've got a cough drop in. I feel okay, but if my voice starts acting funny, folks, I've warned you ahead of time. So yeah, we shall see if I hold
just
up.
had a hard cut to Ruel sucking down helium.
Yeah.
Just because your voice acting funny. It's the cold.
That would be so perfect. Note to self: get a helium tank for next show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can be like Bane.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the reverse Bane.
Oh yeah. Bane. Love it. What else is new, Chris? What else is going on? We've got a few minutes here. Folks, you're watching the pre-show. We do this before every Twitch Tuesday. We do a pre-show and a post-show. We do have a really fun post-show. Richard has recorded some other games that he thought could go on this list, so stick around for that. But before we get going here, we got a few more minutes. Chris, so we talked about the WSBG. We talked about your, the play that you did for the last couple of months. You're back home. What's new on your channel, friend? Anything we should know about?
Oh yeah, upcoming this week is going to be fun in terms of I always like getting. I played a lot of games with the cast, and so I managed to record a video with 3 of them ranking their games. Right, I love having that sort of debrief. Yeah. After a summer or after like spending a lot of time together, or literally after every game night. Like if I'm playing with my normal game group, I'll be like, okay, now let's talk about this completely in depth. Like, we play another game. I'm like, no, we got to talk about it. That's the wind down, right?
We got to talk about it.
So it was nice to hang out with them and to hear their excitement about the games that we managed to play and like which ones hit and why they hit. And so that was, I just finished editing that yesterday, and so that'll be out I think tomorrow because it was one of the lady's birthday who was on it.
Oh,
and,
okay. So the people that you're asking,
she was like, it's September 13th is my birthday. Put the video out that day. I was like, okay, sure.
Oh, nice. Very nice of you to accommodate the request. So the people you're talking to, are they all like hardcore gamers, casual gamers, new gamers? Or...
Yeah, new gamers. Well, so it was great. We had on the 3, we had 2 people who were very new to board gaming, but who were like all in. They were very excited. They were able to get them. I was able to get them excited about games, and they obviously it's the only part of my personality that exists, and it's the only thing I talk about. So, like they were like, okay, I guess I'll engage with you in the only way you know how. I'm like, that's right, come on over. And so they for those 2, they hadn't really delved into the board gaming hobby whatsoever. And then the other guy, Pat, who played Romeo, he was a bit more knowledgeable about board games. Like his favorite game is Inis. And so when he said that, I was like, okay, you know games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know Inis, you know games.
Right. I think that's neat though.
I haven't like delved into a bunch, but yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that you brought in new gamers like that, because it's always refreshing to hear that, because we were all at that point at some point, right? We were all there. So to see that and get that, get back, I don't know, just them talking about their experiences, it reminds me that we were all there at some point. I love that.
Yeah, it's particularly exciting to me when that happens, right? Like, because I just love sharing games with people, obviously. Like, that's why I'm on the internet doing it. But it was really joyful. Like Ariel, she said that like, I hadn't gone much before Scrabble. And Zach, she said like, oh, I haven't done like more than Ticket to Ride. She's like, oh, I had a 4-hour game of Ticket to Ride. It's like,
Oh,
that was
wow.
a long game of Ticket to Ride. I'm like, she's like, yeah, the intense games like Ticket to Ride. I'm like, sorry, what was it?
And that's great to hear.
Well, it's like 4 hours. I'm like, okay, cool. Like
I love
that's a
that.
really cool,
Yeah.
cool perspective, right?
Yeah, it totally is. It's that perspective of someone, you got your eyes wide open basically at that point, and we're jaded, board game media personalities. But to remember that, I love that. And I always like to remember that perspective when I introduce games to people. You got to remember, not everyone is as well versed as we. I mean, we, like you said, we're on the internet talking about this stuff, but you got to really dial it back. When you're, talking to new people who are getting into games. It's just, oh well, this is a worker placement with set collection. Blah blah. It's like, whoa, that's like too much terminology.
100%.
Right.
I taught. Well, it was interesting because I taught Endless Winter to them. And this was like the second game that we played. So we played City of the Great Machine. It was like our first game day. Played City of the Great Machine, and then we played Endless Winter. And I was like, I want to play Endless Winter because I wanted to get a review out and whatever. And so I wanted to get more plays in. And so I was like, no, it's pretty simple. And then I started teaching it, and I realized, especially for Ariel and Zach, like they both did not know what a deck builder was. They did not know what worker placement was.
Okay.
Right? Like they did, and it was like the first time they were learning about all these mechanics. And when you get like a game that is so mishmashed with mechanics, it's everything in there, right? It's a jack of all trades, the board game. It's it's Mario Party, the board game. It's mini games ahoy, right? Like, you get something like that, and like it. And I had a moment when I was teaching. I was like, "Oh shoot, did I screw up? Like, did I pick the wrong game? Like, I haven't given them these building blocks yet, and now I'm throwing this building block and this building block and this building block." I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh no, I do have to explain what the hunting is. I can't just say like set collection. I have to be like, oh no, it's this aspect." And so that was a real like eye opener moment for me in terms of they all loved it. They all like really enjoyed it and loved it and engaged with it like supremely in the way that like I love to engage with games as well.
Okay. That's good to hear.
It was a good reminder of like, oh yeah, the things that become commonplace, the more you delve into something, right? It's like anything. It's a jargon. If you're working in tech or IT, you'll say something about a system or a coding term, and you'll just spout it because you know the thing. And you're looking at somebody else who is not in that world, and they're going, I don't know.
Right.
Words said,
that like blank expression, the blank expression that comes across their face is that's very telling. And so that was cool that they were able to enjoy the game though. So with something like that where with all those different mechanisms you were still able and that's I'm sure it's a credit to your teaching as well. You're able to step back and say, hey, I can't just say this is set collection with deck building. You need to give those blocks, show them exactly what you're talking about and how it works. It definitely helps to have had enough practice teaching games now that I felt good about recognizing those signs. And then I had a little moment of pride in terms of like teaching games where I learned, somebody taught me Food Chain Magnate over the course of the summer too. So my first time playing that. Okay.
Yeah, because I saw it on their shelf and I was like, I want to play that. And so it was our costume designer's partner who was really into board games. We had a lot of people who were around in the area that like board games. I was like, this is amazing.
Very cool.
But during the teach, I could see it was one of those things where it was a game that like he hadn't played in a while and was like, no, I know this game. And then came into it, was like, oh, like I've been in that situation of being like, I know this game completely. Oh no, I do not know this game. It's like I remember playing it and I remember the strategy viscerally. But like I do not remember how to do it. And I was like, he's like, okay, so this. I was like, how do we win? How do we win? I was like, let me guide you. Let me guide your framework. He's like, yes, you win by doing this. I was like, okay, cool. And the first step, so I was like, okay, this is there. I was like, great, perfect. And then he was off to the races, right?
Nice.
Just that kind of structure and framework.
Yeah. But, I had a similar experience recently where I was hanging out with my buddy Jake, and we wanted to play Brass Birmingham. And that's one of my favorite games of all time. And, I brought it, and we sat there. I'm like, I forgot how to play this game. It's been so long. I remember, okay, what is this? I think we do this, and then I'm looking at the rule books,
Yeah.
like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, wait, does cold take a rail, or do I have to do this with iron? Does that teleport?
Yeah.
What about beers? I'm like, oh my gosh, it was frustrating knowing that I knew the game, but then it's been so long that I forgot how to teach it and how to play it.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer. I need to. We actually just said, you know what, we're here. Let's just enjoy our drinks and we'll play something super light. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Jake.
Right.
We'll get back to it another time.
We'll table it. We'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brass especially. Well, any of those games, it's all with those like little minutia rules that
Yeah.
like, when you know them, but
Right.
then when you stepped away from it for a long time, you're like, oh no, and then that's where like a really good rule book comes in handy.
Yeah.
It's a well-structured thing that you can be like, boom, index got it.
Right.
But not everything has that, right? But,
yeah, and Brass is a perfect
really
example. Like, as much as I love that game, and the rules are pretty clear in the rule book, but the thing that kills me, they have 2 pages, and I get it. They want to do this historical thing, and they talked about the actual figures that were in the game. They could have used those 2 pages for examples, like clear-cut examples, edge cases, whatever, and it would have made our life that much easier. Instead, we get 2 pages of flavor text, basically. And I'm not saying that stuff's not important, but they could have easily added some real, some examples there. I mean, help a brother out. It's been a while since I played. I would like an example or 2, but it is what it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we've got I think we've got tons of stuff to talk to on this show. This is a really good show.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So we're going to start this off, folks. Again, if you're watching live on Twitch, thank you for hanging out with us. We are going to be recording this for YouTube, so if people raid or come in, just let them know we're recording, and we're not going to be responding in real time to y'all, but we do have an after show. After we're done recording, we hang out for a little bit, and we're going to show Richard's add-on for the after show where he talks about even more games. And I know Chris and I have more games we want to talk to. That won't be on the official YouTube list, but this is like a bonus for you all watching the extended edition here. And I want to thank AA Risings for resubscribing with Prime. They've been subscribed for 17 months. Oh. AA Risings, if you haven't already, first of all, thank you for resubscribing. Second of all, anyone that subscribes here on Twitch, you have access to a special list of a playlist of videos that Richard's done over the years, and this is not seen anywhere else except for here for people who subscribe and support the channel. So thank you for that. And be sure, if you reuse your Prime sub on someone else's channel, that's great. You can still get 25% off because it is Subtember, folks, here on Twitch. In fact, I'm going to put in a little command here. It says Subtember. And look at that. Now the info is there, right there for you to read it live in chat. We're getting the hang of this tech stuff. I hope I am, Chris. We shall see. Maybe I shouldn't talk too soon.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Okay, I'm hydrating. And, let me make sure that we don't have any outstanding things to do here as far as the community is involved. We have...
I think we had a pretty quiet chat. Chat's just chilling.
They're chilling. Cool. That's cool. Okay. Chilling. And we're okay with that. I know a lot of us are a lot of people are lurking while working. We appreciate you. Don't get in trouble at work. Just do your thing and just quietly listen. That's perfectly fine. Let me see. Okay, the requests are cleared. Yeah, so we don't have any outstanding requests. I know I did a Ruel ranks last time, and I also did a top 3 last time. But we are good to go. Let me get this on screen.
It's all good, John. John said caught me. I assume you're saying caught you because I was saying people were quiet. No, it's all good. We're all just chilling.
Totally
we're chilling. We're relaxing. We're talking about games. It's all good. Sailnet said, I appreciate you using your Prime stuff for room board, but I don't know if I get anything from that because I rarely Twitch, so I need to look into that. It may be better to use it here. I'm just saying. I'll look into it. See if I can get the 50% of the Bezos money.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me get this over
I'll give it back to you for shipping. That's what I'll do.
There you go. Okay, that has been updated. Sweet. So let us go over here. You know what? Why don't we get the Battle Royale going, Chris? So
let's get the Battle Royale going.
All right,
I want to see these people punch each other.
Duke it out, folks. Here we go. And I hope... I hear the music. Let me see if y'all hear it.
I'm sure the music will be there.
Yeah.
I hear some music too.
Oh, you do?
I've caught up with the delay.
Okay.
Well, I hear a No, I hear a plane.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Got it?
I heard it. There we go.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, people can know how much of a delay we have.
Yeah.
Judging by that.
I'm just glad it works. Yay, Billy Pratt. Thanks for informing me. Okay,
Thanks,
who do we
Billy.
got here? Who's fighting? Feldfan.
Who is fighting? Everybody. Honestly, can't we just have peace? Can't we just have peace for one time? What is it with this senseless violence? No.
We should
Love
instead of-
each other.
Yes.
Board games are about bringing people together. Oh, stop this madness, please. I implore you. Please, no. You animals. Oh.
Feldfan
You're
and Why Not
fighting-
Griff are the two last remaining ones. Oh,
Uh,
there's a
Griff.
med pack.
Griff, come
Oh, we
on.
got it.
Just put your hate aside, my friend. Please, Feldfan.
Oh! Why Not Griff
Oh,
has won the
no.
Battle Royale.
Congratulations, Why Not Griff?
Congrats, Why Not Griff.
I feel fairly certain that Why Not Griff? I played introduced Feast for Odin to me over the summer.
Oh,
So I think
wow.
that's the same Why Not Griff? And if not, you're getting credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feast for, it's the first time I played it. Friggin'
Nice.
love it. So
That-
good.
That's amazing. So Why Not Griff? You have won the Battle Royale. You get 100 gold to spend on your character. Folks, if you would like your own very own avatar, you can get one by subscribing to the channel. Not only do you get the avatar, you get discounts on Rahdo merch, and you also get access to an exclusive playlist of a bunch of Rahdo videos that are not seen elsewhere. So feel free to do that anytime during the show. We appreciate your support. It helps us keep the channel going. Helps. Hey, there you go. Hey, Trika. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. And after
Hey,
the show's
Trika.
after the show's wrapped up, folks, I will whisper you with this playlist. Again, we ask that you don't share it with anyone else, just for subscribers of the show. And thank you all for that. Really, really appreciate it. And I think we're almost good to go. I'm going to hydrate one more time. Folks, if you want to hydrate with me. Say hydrate.
Everybody go get a dang glass of water. Seriously. You need it. We know you need it. You've been sitting down. You
Yes.
haven't had enough water, and we care about you. We don't want you to shrivel up into a little raisin. That's for the non-board gamer.
Oh, I love it. Chris, you're turning things around here. We went from Battle Royale to a Hug Royale. Now we're reminding people to
Exactly.
hydrate. This is great.
Yeah. This is why you tune in.
Exactly.
That's why you tune in, folks.
All right. Chris, you ready to go, my friend?
I'm ready to go. Let's
Oh.
get into this list.
Let's do this, folks. All right. So I'm going to switch over to this scene here.
Cream soda does not count. Drink some water, John. I mean, cream soda does count, and it's delicious. So yes, keep drinking that. But
Oh, I love it. I love our audience. Okay. So this is episode 71 of the R&R show. And I'm going to we'll start with this screen here, and y'all can hear me. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Rahdo Runs Through channel. This is the R&R show, episode 71. Welcome friends, I'm Ruel Gaviola, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, handsome co-host, Chris George.
You charmer.
You like that,
That's
Chris?
me waving right there.
You like that?
Point and wave. That's how you do it.
Folks, if you're
You
wondering what the heck we're
charmer,
talking about, be sure to hit the button, click on the link below for the extended edition where we talk about Chris's new facial hair look out. And he actually shared some
true.
photos, folks.
That's
This
true.
is why I'm talking about how beautiful and handsome this man is, because you need to see what he did before he came on the show here today. But Chris,
That is
enough
true.
of that. We can talk about your handsomeness all show long, but we're not there for that.
We
We're here for
should.
games, right?
We are here for games, I suppose. I will put the $100 of my budget towards games and not to face creams and hair trimming products. I think I
Nice.
will do that.
All right. I love hearing that. We've got a really cool list today. This is interesting, folks. This is something new for me. I'm excited to do this. Chris, we're looking at the top 12 games you can get for $300. Now, this is a $300 combined U.S. budget that you, Richard, and I have decided these are the games we would start, if we had this amount of money, these are the games we would buy. Now, Richard's going to be joining us through the magic of video. Chris, you want to talk a little bit about maybe your approach to this? I mean, it was not an easy task, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't. And well, I mean, it was a little bit easier for me because we did our budget in US dollars, and me being in Canada, I was like, okay,
That's
the
right.
world's my oyster.
Oh,
I've got so much money to spend, baby. I took a bath with it. I showered myself in gems. I really felt very opulent with this list. But then I still cheated. So Richard's list has to be 98 and 10 cents because I stole $1.90 from him. And he doesn't know this, but he does now. And then also for us, we were like, okay, we've done this in the past with one store, but we just went to Board Game Oracle, which kind of is a conglomerate of the prices that are out there. And so, of course, I cheated in two ways. In that, usually when you spend like $100 in a game store, maybe sometimes it's like $150, you get free shipping, right? So I didn't factor in shipping, and I need to specify this because shipping is the thing that I think about more than my own lack of self-worth. It's an incredible amount that I think about shipping. So I didn't put any shipping in. I stole $1.90, and I also just got games that I want. And so like some of them I have, and some of them I don't. I have two that I have, two that I don't. So I figured I'd put a balance on that list. And then I also exclusively went to the deals and discounts section on Board Game Oracle because I don't buy things like for full retail price.
Oh, that's great.
I think that's a chumps game, and I'm cheap, and I have to deal with fake Canadian money. And so it's a hard life up here. We're cold, and our dollar is worth 73 of your cents.
I love it.
We got to do what we can to get by and get things on a discount.
Exactly.
So,
all right.
And so I went exclusively for the discounts. And so like these discounts may not be existing. They might be existing. I don't know. But I'm very happy with my list, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Awesome.
So that's what I'll say. How about you, Ruel?
No, that's great. So I didn't do the deals and discounts. I just sort of went on what games I really would, if I did have this imaginary $300.
Honorable man.
Pretty much, yeah. I am an honorable man. I did not take $1.20 from anyone. But having said that, why don't we just jump right into it, Chris? You're going to kick things off with our number 12, and then we'll talk more as we go along here. And so what do we got at number 12? So this is $100 for each of us to get 4 games, and then we combine it for 12 games here for a total of US $300. So, Chris, your first choice, my friend.
Well, my first choice, and it's our number 12 because it is also a cheat. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. And I know I'm going to get flack for this from Richard in his video.
You're calling it now. I love it. Nice.
But you know what? I don't care.
Yes.
I care about this game. And because I saw it at this price, that I was like, that's a good deal. And it's something that I've wanted to pick up for a long time. It is an expansion to a game that I own. That's why it kind of goes off list, because it's like you have to have the base game in order to actually play it. But you know what? I'll throw away my base game and I'll just play with these components and I'll figure it out. We're talking about Scoundrels of Skullport, the expansion to Lords of Waterdeep. I had it on Amazon for $22.99. I wrote down to where I found them as well, because it's all 4 different stores as well. So I'm not qualifying for that free shipping either. So this one was on Amazon. Scoundrels of Skullport just would reinvigorate my copy of Lords of Waterdeep. I still love Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep is like such an incredible beginner worker placement game.
Yes.
If you're new to worker placement, it was one of my first 20 games probably that I ever got into my collection, and it's like it's still stuck around. My girlfriend still enjoys playing it, and I have yet to purchase Scoundrels of Skullport. I just love everything that it does. I love that it adds in a couple new locations on the board. So a couple new locations where you can get better stuff, but you often also have to take corruption, which are worth negative points. And so they're worth negative points at the end of the game, and they're worth negative points scaled depending upon how many people take these negative points. And I don't know, now thinking about it, if I've ever really seen that used in many games, that sort of scaling of the negatives that you can directly affect your opponents too, because there's like they have 3 little skulls that you can take, and then when you take those 3 little skulls, you move on to the next tier. Then suddenly every single skull is now worth -2 points, and then -3 points. And so if it's hovering around the -3 to -4 area, you could go there, take a negative, and you'd only get -4, and you'd make somebody else get an additional -12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they would have only had -9, and something like that could scale in that way, or you can use it strategically. I think it's really fun. Just adds in a bunch more stuff. It's a solid game, and I haven't played Lords of Waterdeep in a while, and I saw it, and I was like, you know what? That's a good price for it. $22.99 is what I would want to pay for it.
Yeah,
and I think it's regular was like $30 or something, but $22.99 was like, yeah, that's a decent price. And so that's kind of how I operated with this list too, of being like, you know what? That's a good price. Like I'm cheap, and I would buy it for this price. so therefore, it makes the list.
Yeah, no better recommendation than that, folks. You're cheap, and this is the game for you. I love Lords of Waterdeep, especially with the Scoundrels Skullport. Confession time, Chris. I've actually owned this twice in my lifetime. Both times I've gotten rid of it. I'm not gonna lie. Looking at this video, hearing you talk about, I need to reacquire this, I think, for the 3rd time.
It's a good game.
It really is. It's fantastic, and it's one of those things. The only reason why I got rid of it is because I needed the space in my room, but I can always call some other games and bring this one back because it's always solid. I've always enjoyed playing this, and you're right, it's a great worker placement game for newbies, but it still has enough, especially with the Skullport expansion, where veteran gamers like yourself and myself, we still enjoy it. I will play this anytime. It is so good.
Yeah,
it's outstanding.
For sure.
Yeah, it still holds up. I love that. So great choice, Chris. And just a reminder, folks, we use BoardGameOracle.com to find all the prices and stuff. They do price comparisons and whatnot, and it was really fun doing this. And speaking of fun, I've got a fun one for my number 11, Chris. A game that I've loved for a long time. I was introduced to this after. Let me see. Oh, you know what? No. Okay, I should back up. I need to explain my reason here for this game. Let me write it down here. I had it all set up here. Let me see.
I know. I was searching frantically off screen to get my price list up too.
Yeah,
what's happening?
And you totally caught me, folks. This is the beauty of doing this live, and we are doing this live on Twitch, and things happen. But my number 11, what I was going to talk about is. There was a game called Dinosaur Island that I really enjoyed. Worker placement. It's basically Jurassic Park on the tabletop, right? And as much as I enjoyed that game, I thought there were some problems with it. Number 1, it ran too long. Number 2, it was like huge table hog. And it was just, it was a pain to set up, pain to clean up, and it didn't get to the table that much. But there is a perfect replacement for that game, and it's my number 11. It was dirt cheap. It is Dinosaur Island, Rawr and Right. And yes, we have to say Rawr and Right, because that's the name.
You do.
Right.
If you don't, you go to jail.
Exactly. You go to board game jail. You don't want that. You want to say Rawr and Right. This is the Roll and Right, or Rawr and Right version. How many times can I say that? I don't know. We're going to keep going, though.
I don't know. We should get a counter on the screen, though. If
we should.
Live, we would.
Folks on YouTube, let us know how many times you caught me saying Rawr and Right. Anyways, it still keeps all the flavor and all the gameplay of the original, which I love, Chris. You're still building your park. You're still going to, hopefully keep those dinos where they're supposed to be. And you're doing it with the use of these really cool polyomino tiles that you just draw on your player sheet. Now, you still roll, you're still going to get resources, you still need to build, use the DNA to build your dinosaurs, and eventually hopefully your park's going to be safe, and you have, your concession stands, you have all the different buildings. It is Dinosaur Island, and it's still, what's great, it's still a thinky as heck game. It's crunchy. Like, it is not just like, I'm going to roll dice, write a number, hopefully it works. No, this is still a Dinosaur Island experience. Worker placement, action selection, you have different abilities, and oh my gosh, I love this game. I had to have a roll and write on this list, Chris, and I was wondering, for me at least, most bang for my buck. Do I go with like a classic like Welcome to, or something like Gone Sean's Clever? And I was like, you know what? Dinosaur Island, Rawr and Right is the perfect mix of not only or action selection, worker placement, but also dice placement, I should say. And you have that roll and write experience. So it's a little crunchier than Yahtzee or whatever, but oh boy, it's so good. I love this game so much. That's why it's our number 11, friends. Dinosaur Island. Rawr and right.
Rawr and right. I'm over the moon that it's on a list that's not my selection. I love this game as well.
Yeah.
It made my top 20 games. Like,
oh, nice.
Number 17 or something.
Yeah.
I friggin' adore this game. It's so good. And I love it because most roll and writes don't feel interactive, but when you snake draft the dice and you have that leaving the dice in the middle, it just feels so important. Like you're actually affecting each other in a way that most roll and writes are your own solo puzzle, and I just love the interaction that it brings.
Agreed.
So solid.
And it just now. Had you played the original Dinosaur Island, Chris, or just?
I haven't. No, it's my only Dinosaur Island experience.
Yeah, I would even say you don't have to experience Dinosaur Island because you have the best version of it here. I did like Duelsaur Island, the 2-player, but I feel like this is superior. It's even better than that one because of just the way you use the dice and the way that you're drawing stuff. I mean, it's technically a roll and write, but I feel like it really feels like a full-fledged board game, right? Where you are still working all these different things, got to convert resources and whatnot. I mean, I love the experience, and I'm glad that it's when you're top 20. That's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. I cannot wait. I think. I don't know. You never know when games are in development or when expansions are in development. I had talked to the designer at Origins, and he mentioned he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to get some different maps or something. That would be the expansion. Like that's the vision for the expansion."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, this sounds incredible." He's like, "Yeah, if you like cover something up, maybe you get something." I was like, "That sounds like the best thing in the world."
Yeah. Wait. So is this official or was this just he was just sort of talking?
No. It was just a conversation. There's no official here, but like I've been ever since that conversation. I was like, "Listen, when it happens, let me know."
Yes.
Like, tell me if you need playtesting, I'll do it. Like, I don't care. Because I managed to playtest this. I playtested this when it was first in its original like.
No way.
I did it over like tabletop. Yeah, tabletop.
Oh wow.
And cool. And then they gave me like a $10 coupon off the Kickstarter. I was like, great.
Right on.
So I got for $10 cheaper as like a thank you for playtesting.
So do you remember when it was in its original prototype form? Was it similar to the finished project?
It was pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty close to whenever I got invited into the process, right? This was before I started like doing YouTube, I think. So like
Wow, cool.
Regular old playtester.
Right on. Okay, folks, that's our number 12 and 11. Let's move on to Richard for number 10. Richard, take it away.
Okay, guys, good to have you back. Yes, and well, excellent choice. As always, I find myself very much agreeing with you. Roll and Write is phenomenal. That is so much game in that Roll and Write box. Really heavy, crunchy stuff. Definitely big value there. And Chris. We've made such progress over the last few months. We've really become more simpatico, but then you throw it all away by spitting in the face of this very list by making people get an expansion without the game. Then they have to pay an extra $40. And then we break the entire conceit of this list. So before we get to number 10 on the list, I am going to have to call an audible. I'm going to have to make an executive decision here because in the R&R show, I am the first R. And I am going to head over to the excellent site we all used for this Board Game Oracle because, Chris, what did you say? I believe you said Skullport was $22.99. I'm going to suggest, hey, maybe if you'd gone into, where is it? Advanced search, there we go. And we say, just board games, not expansions, accessories, just board games. I am going to have to find a replacement for you now. Let's see, $22.99. There's got to be something that is the exact same price right off the bat. Spiel des Jahres winner, Scout. Come on! I wouldn't choose it, but you could have chosen it. Or what else? A lot of people love the Machi Koro. Warp's Edge. Man, that Warp's Edge is one of the greatest solo modern games there is. A high, very good choice. Mysterium Park. all the great fun of Mysterium in a tighter, faster playing, easier to teach package. A great party social game. Red Outpost is such a cool twist on worker placement. Proving Grounds, another fantastic solo. Loot Island, a very sharp game. A little too cutthroat for my taste, but excellent as well. Shinkansen 0K, I know how much you love Red Cathedral. This is from the same developers. Chris, you had so many options at your price point to give us a real game. But anyway, you chose not to. That's okay. Of all those, it's probably Warp's Edge or Mysterium Park. I could say either of those really should have been our number 12 on the list. And sticking to our, $294.56 target. Anyway, though, okay. Enough of that. All that out of the way. Let's move on to number 10 on the list, Earth. I decided to go big. I've got my $100, and Earth is right now my odds-on favorite top game of the year 2023. And when I saw it's so easy to pick up for like $49.99, where at Just Games Rochester. I mean, actually, I know it's out of print at most major online retailers, but when they do have it in stock, it's even cheaper than that. And this game has so much going on. I feel like I've talked about Earth quite a bit. Like I said, I will be talking about at the end of the year. There's almost no way it doesn't make my game of the year. So it seemed like an obvious no-brainer. Such a brilliant, wonderful, crunchy puzzle of a game that gives you so much play in such a tight time frame because of the simultaneous play, where every time on a player's turn they trigger an action, everybody else gets to do a version of that action. So much fun, so much to track. A really wonderfully produced game. I can't recommend it highly enough. Number 10 on the list, Earth. And before I throw back to you guys, I just wanted to say, in case I wasn't clear, Board Game Oracle is fantastic. A really wonderful and very useful website. There's a link for it down in the show notes, like everything else we're talking about today. RIP to the wonderful Board Game Atlas, another website that offered the same function of being able to comparison shop. They shut down a few months ago, but Board Game Oracle lives on, and cannot recommend this website highly enough, and they made this entire video possible. So much so that, folks, did you know there's an extended version of this show where we have a pre-show and a post-show? You can hit that eye in the top right corner screen or follow the links down in the show notes to go check that out. And in the extended post-show, I had so much fun doing this, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of extra 12 additional games that you could buy for under $300 if you're looking for some great options. So, anyway, all that out of the way, back to you guys.
Yeah, so again, if you're watching this YouTube, we have an extended version that we record live here on Twitch, so be sure to hit the show notes below, check out the link, and you will see all of that great stuff. Earth, fantastic game. I love this. Yeah, the first time I played it was actually with Richard at Dice Tower West, and it was a brilliant game. Getting tons of accolades this year, deservedly so. And yeah, he went big right off the bat, and that's, it's all good. We took different approaches. I'm still laughing, Chris, over him calling you out for that.
I really like the title of Chris is Wrong down below. That was my favorite. That was my favorite touch of it. I knew that would happen, but you know what?
You called it.
I don't care. I stand by it.
Yes.
And I will happily play with just my expansion and think everyone should do that. We have a lot of
I love it. That's great.
Warp's Edge. I've heard Warp's Edge is really great. I just don't play solo games, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Warp's Edge is fantastic.
Shows how much Richard knows me.
That's right. The Chris is Wrong title.
No, it's very funny. But I think like the essence of this list is also value, right? And I think that's why Earth is a really nice pick for it, because it is really like, it's really affordable for the quality of game that you get and like the amount of components in it. Well, I spent a lot of time on Kickstarter, and when I saw this on Kickstarter, it was like 54 Canadian. That was like the Kickstarter price. And was just incredible, right? Yeah. Like that's 40 something US, and that's what it's running for. And the fact that like it is so, they could price this up an extra $10. I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms of feeling like you also got your money's worth. And that says something since I'm incredibly cheap. Yeah, you're
right. It's incredible value. And that's why it was our number 10. Thank you, Richard, for that. Now it's back to you, Chris, for number 9. Let's see. Are you going to break the rules again, or what are we doing here,
I'm
my
not.
friend?
I'm not going to break the rules. This one was over on Game Nerds. Yeah, I'm glad Richard shouted out Board Game Atlas too. That did just shut down, and that was a loss, I feel, for us. But Board Game Oracle is still going, and that's really nice. They didn't sponsor this video. We just like it, right? Like we just like the site. So I think that was a great shout out. But yeah, this one is Game Nerds. It clocks in. This is my most expensive. No. I left my most expensive for the last. This one clocks in at $24.97. And it is a game that I tried to pick games that I feel are really good games that are sort of undervalued because they didn't get the widespread popularity. And I think this is that game. People said it was too long. That was one of the main critiques of it. I don't think it's too long, even as the base game. You don't need the Igor variant. I'm talking about Abomination, Heir of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's just a lovely worker placement game. I feel like I've mentioned it on lists in the past, and I almost held it back because I was like, dang, in October we're probably going to do a spooky scary list, and Abomination's probably going to be on that one too.
Right.
So I almost picked something different in terms of just like thinking ahead for future stuff, but I opted to keep it in because I think at $24.97 that's a great price for this game. It's just a solid 2 worker placements. Hey, you can incorporate Scoundrels of Skullport into Abomination, Heir of Frankenstein, and it'd be completely fine. It'll really shake up the game. But you're trying to you're collecting dead body parts, and then you're reanimating your Frankenstein monster corpse. Frankenstein's monster wants a friend or a bride, and you've got to reanimate it. I just think it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a dark theme, but I find it very funny. Like, I find it very funny that you can go to the graveyard and your parts that you get aren't as fresh, and so you need to use them sooner than if you paid somebody to murder someone in a back alley, because then those parts will be fresh. Like, that's the overarching theme of it, and just that aspect is very funny to me, and also the fact that you can, if there's a hunter who's hunting Frankenstein's monster, and the hunter actually catches up, then things are worth different points. And I love those end game triggers where it's like, if you completed your monster and Frankenstein's alive, it's worth more points than, if Frankenstein's dead, well, make sure your morality stat is still up high, because then that's worth more points. So yeah, just a really, really solid, not too complicated at all. And I really didn't find it, like, I've only played the long game. I haven't played the Igor variant. Okay. And we did it. People are like, it takes 4 hours. We did it in 2. Like, and that was with a teach. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
It's gotten quicker since then when all people know the game.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think you're right. It definitely depends on players, because I've played this game a couple of times, and one time, actually the first time I played, there was a few like casual gamers, and this is definitely not for them. It was definitely a next step. So that took a little longer, but we ultimately liked it. I liked it a lot better. I did like it a lot better with the Igor variant, where to me that felt like, having Terraform Mars Prelude with Terraform Mars, just ramps things up. But overall, the game it's one of my favorites. I still have it. It's one of the most thematic games out there, right? It is just perfectly matched. It is dark. It's not for everyone. It is pretty gruesome, but I just think, you're talking about funny bits, just the whole thing that you could use like dog parts, for your...
Yeah, you can use dog parts. You can put your parts on ice, like, thematically. If we do a Halloween list, spoiler alert, this is my number 1.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's...
anytime there's a Halloween list, this always makes it on there. It's an evergreen title. It's a fantastic game. I do understand some of the complaints about being too long, but as you said, you've been able to knock it out in 2 hours, and that's perfectly fine. So maybe people
that's
just
like
need
an average game, right?
Yeah,
or at least what I assume an average game.
Yeah,
is.
not bad
I'll
at all.
have to check out the Igor variant then.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, and also I think it was during the pandemic when it first started. I think the designers came up with a solo variant as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Like an official one, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't given that a shot. Yeah,
well.
I'd like to check that one out. But yeah, fantastic game. I definitely worth. I mean, for what was it, $24.97? You said that's
$24.97.
That's right? Like over half off, right? That's a fantastic deal.
Like really good deal. It was on Game Nerds. I don't know. We made this like a couple of days ago, so.
Cool.
I don't know if it's still there for that, but for that price,
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
good.
And the production's brilliant. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Again, if you can get over the theme of like body parts and stuff, it is a beautiful production. All right, cool. That's our number 8. It's to me now for number. Oh no, that was number 9. Now we're going to me for number 8.
Yeah.
We will. Again, we're recording this live on Twitch, folks, just for y'all. And I've got number 8. This is a game. It's pretty. Actually, it's brand new, Chris. This is something that is on pre-order, actually. So I sort of broke the rules too. You know, I didn't do an expansion, but I got one that you have to pre-order rather than it's not actually available right now. But
pre-order's fine.
Okay, it's fine. As long as you're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
I'll allow it.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. This is one of my favorite games of this year, so by far. It's on the top 3 so far. I don't see it going down. It's wonderful. It is a game called SkyTeam. That's our number 8. This is a cooperative game that Richard and I actually played here on the channel, folks. If you saw it, it is on the channel right now, and we had a really good time doing this. You're basically a pilot and co-pilot trying to land your plane safely, and you do this through dice placement. And what's really brilliant about this game is that you can strategize all you want, but once you get into the meat of the game, which is placing the dice, you can no longer talk. And your dice are behind screens, so you cannot see what you have, and you're trying to deduce what your partner is going to place in certain areas. So there's all these different tracks. The pilot has access to a few that the co-pilot doesn't have, and vice versa. There are some that you're working together, such as, hey, we need to land this plane. I need to get the landing gear down. You need to get the flaps down. We need to make sure we're, level. We need to make sure our speed is okay. Oh, by the way, we need to make sure we don't run out of fuel, and, if we want help, we need to concentrate. And I love the fact that in the game, the concentration tokens are represented by coffee cups. So, hey, give me another cup of coffee. I need to land this plane. It's a great little theme, and what's great, Chris, is it only plays in 20 minutes. It's a quick game, and I think so. We did this here on the channel. I also played on my channel, and I think for me, the biggest selling point is I played with my buddy Daryl. Daryl is not a cooperative gamer. He's a wonderful friend. He just doesn't want to play co-op games. This is a co-op game. I was like, dude, give this one chance. We'll never have to play it again. He actually requested to play it again right after we played it. That's how much he liked it. And we still talk about it. I was like, dude, I think this might, and he's like, yeah, it's the fact that it takes away the quarterbacking of a lot of cooperative games.
Yeah.
Just the way it's built. And I love the theme of trying to land this plane. And it is funny when you know you're not going to land. It's like, okay, thanks for flying Rahdo Airlines. We're all going to crash in the mountain now. Enjoy your flight. We'll see you next time. But that's why it's my number 8. A brilliant game this year. It is on pre-order. That is SkyTeam.
I've heard that happens a lot on Rahdo Airlines.
It only happens when he talks about expansions being on a list.
I've heard that happens a lot. I don't know. I don't know who I heard that from, but I heard it. I definitely heard it from someone. People were talking about it. That's all I was saying.
People talk. All right, let's move on to Richard. He's got our number 7.
Okay, Ruel, once again, I agree wholeheartedly. SkyTeam is fantastic. I had so much fun filming that run through with you, and it's stressful, no choice about it, but it's such a brilliant design. And Chris, Abomination is no doubt an excellent design, very macabre, very grotesque, but if you're not turned off by the subject matter, and for folks who don't know, if you use the official variant you can read about on Board Game Geek, because I think pretty much universally, one of the biggest complaints about Abomination was its gameplay length was just way too long. Epically long. The developers and publishers took that feedback on board. They released updated rules that let you play it in almost half the time, and then it becomes a truly excellent experience, again, if you're looking for a really macabre worker placement game. Probably not for me and Jen, but it's certainly a step up from your previous entry. But all that out of the way, let's move on to number 7 on the list, Nemalia, which is another game that has the potential to make it into my top 10 games for this year, 2023. A simple, unassuming, a little card game where we're doing 7 Wonders Sushi Go style drafting of cards and then layering them on top of each other using a scoring system taken right out of Isle of Skye and used to such great effect. I love this multiple objective system. Cartographers does it too, but Isle of Skye is really what introduced us to this variable objective system where you solve objectives, then they come back later, and so you're really trying to score them well early and late, and just so much fun, so much variety, a nice collection of different objectives. Are going to mix it up game after game after game, and even in two-player, the card draft, maybe even especially in two-player, the card drafting is so tense. This game is phenomenal. Well, I know you love it too, and it can be gotten for $15.99 at Atomic Empire, according to the Oracle. And when I saw that, I'm so in love with this game right now, I had to put it on my list. Nemalia.
Yeah, this one was on my list as well. This is such again, a number game for me that's top 5 of the year. And talk about bang for your buck. In that little box, it's got a fantastic, just so much replayability and just a fantastic game. I don't know if you've been able to play it yet, Chris, but what do you think of this type of?
Yeah, I walked up to a table and I think at Dice Hour West, I feel like Alex from Board Game Co was playing it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this looks neat. Yeah, and I know you've talked about it super highly as well.
Yeah.
I love those variable scoring conditions. Those variable, not scoring conditions, but the variable objectives.
Yep.
And how the cycle of it happens. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. This was on my list, and it didn't make the list because Richard got to talk about it. So, very wise choice for number 7, Richard. But let's move on to Chris. Mm-hmm. We've got our number 6 coming up.
Now, I feel like this maybe should have been our number 3, like my number 1. But I'm going to talk about it now because objectively, I think I like the game more. That's coming up. But this game, I think I am its only advocate. I think I'm the only person who advocates for this game. It was a game that was universally panned by so many people, but I do not know why. Sure, it used to be $100, right? When it first came out, they were trying to sell it for like $100. Now, because everybody hates it, you can get it for $14.95 at Noble Knight. I've seen it this low consistently. And for this price, like, give it a friggin' try. It's Seafall. It's Seafall.
Nice.
Legacy game.
Yes.
Seafall. I've had so much fun with Seafall. I've played so many games of Seafall. We're like, I don't know, I'd say like 80 or 90% through the campaign, and then we stopped and we haven't been able to get back together because of like conflicting schedules, etc.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. It's really fun. And sure, I can see, like, I think the issue with Seafall and why people didn't like it is that, like, there's a chance down the line, if certain elements line up, you can get that like overpowered weird combo, right? Like, so because whoever's in the lead, whoever's in second or third or whatever, you get a certain number of bonuses at the start of the game, because whoever's in the lead, generally on the overarching campaign of points, has gotten a bunch of upgrades, and so it kind of balances that way. Everybody gets a bunch more stuff to start, but then if you don't win the actual game, you get to choose to keep a person. And so there's some people that can come out that do like really game breaking things. And like my friends who I play a lot of game with, they played Seafall first. And they ran into this situation where one player was able to kind of win in 2 turns and win in a way that like they weren't able to get to the end of the map to like explore the final area. Like the game ends when you explore the island at the end of the sea or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so because he had like this engine that was going, that he could just win, he just kept winning, and he just kept winning until he could tie up the scores, basically. And then they're like, okay, we got to stop this. Like, you can't play that power anymore. It's done. We're just going to play a game, and we're going to finish the game. Because it was like 5 games or so in which like this weird broken power combo worked for this person, right? And so like I see the potential for those things that can happen, but other than that, it's a really fun game of resource management and just exploring and reading little passages of text and figuring out new exciting things that pop up, right? Like you'll discover islands, and all those islands will be a bit different. You'll discover little inlets in the middle of your map that like or currents that push you along, and so your map develops differently. You get a whole nice, unique map that I feel generally will work very well. And it's so sad to me that people don't give this game a shot. Like if the idea of, if you like that exploration idea, or if you like that idea of like going to islands and getting different resources and trading those, it's a really solid game system. Like, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's not a bad game. It's actually a very good game. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot. I like that I could raid somebody's ship in the high seas. I like that I could go into their port and just fire my cannons and steal things from their vaults. And then when I do that, they get a bunch of enmity stickers against me, so that the next time I try to do that, they've got like an additional defense strength, right? So the way those sort of work, it works out. Like, there are ways that it could be broken. Yes, I understand that, but for me, the discoveries were fun, the journey was fun, and everybody. I've been playing this with 3 players, myself included, and we, all 3 of us, have had a really good time every time we played the game, and it's something that we're actively excited to finish. And we played our last game, I don't know, over a year ago. And just like, I think it was a pandemic thing that probably stopped us as well. But I think we started somewhat in the pandemic. It was, we all travel, right? Like, we're all variable. So it's just like schedules happen and whatever. But yeah, I've had a lovely time with it. Had an absolutely lovely time with it. I think if you go in with no expectations, like, that's how to go into this game. Because I think everybody's expectations were so high after Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Like, oh, it's another Legacy game. It's gonna happen. And it just got panned by everybody who played it. And I think it's a tough thing to review, because you need to actually have played the full experience. And so people, I think, like, reviewers will play it max. Like, I think Shut Up and Sit Down said they played it like 6 times in their review. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. They're like, it just felt like too samey. And like, I get that the cycle, it doesn't like ramp up super quick. But if you like that initial cycle, I just really enjoyed exploring the islands, getting to name the islands. There's so many new characters that pop up that you get to name. Like, it just really embodied the Legacy experience for me. And I still think Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is better. But I thought Seafall was fun. I thought Seafall was really fun, and I'll wave that flag forever. I could talk about it forever, but
that's great.
I'll cut myself off.
You've sold me, Chris. I'm going to tell you. I was like everyone else. I had heard all the hype, and it was pretty much dead in the water, right? Literally dead in the water when it came out. It was unfortunate.
Nobody likes it. No one likes it.
No one liked it.
But I like it.
But I think that's great that you came back and you actually had a good experience with it. It shows to me that there's some merit for giving this a shot. As like I did hear the similar thing where my friend group that did get it, they did say there was something broken. And it may have been sort of like what you had with your friend. But they also sort of said, okay, well, it's broken. We just moved past it. And they liked it. They didn't love it, but they didn't like it enough. Like, okay, it wasn't as bad as they thought it was. So for $15, like, it really,
that's $15.
Yeah,
like, come on,
that's a steal.
Come on,
get
it.
I
mean, see it at that price, friggin' get it.
I might as well try it at that price for sure. So great job, Chris. I never would have thought this would have been on the list, honestly. But for that price and the fact that you had a great experience, I think it's worthy of this list. Well done, man. Great. Okay.
Richard will hate it, but what can you do about that?
It's not an expansion.
Not an expansion.
Let's move on to
use Counters of Skullport in it though too.
Oh, that's right.
Incorporate. That's part of you. If you don't know that, you probably just didn't get to that part yet.
Oh,
wow. You can use it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good how it's incorporated. I thought that was one of the true innovations.
Right. It's like, oh, look, we got something special here. Let's move on to our top 5 now. I'll kick things off with number 5. Now, I had talked about Dinosaur Island, rawr, and right as being bang for your buck. This, to me, is the epitome of bang for your buck. This game I've had in my collection for many, many years. And the thing is, Chris, the list price, I don't understand how it's great. The list price is like $19.99 US. But you could get it on sale. Board Game Oracle told me that the lowest price is like $14.99 at the time. But I love this game. It's a worker placement game, probably my favorite mechanism of all. So, of course, I had to include this game. This is Targi. Or Targi. I always call it Targi. Yeah. I always call it Targi, folks. I'm going to stick with Targi. Wonderful game, a worker placement game. It's got this really cool mechanism of a grid style mechanism where you place your workers on the outer edges with some actions, and then where they intersect in the middle, you're going to take those actions as well. So you got resources. You convert those resources to the cards that you're trying to set in your tableau. They're like Oasis and the Camel cards and all kinds of good stuff. I mean, it's just a brilliant game, and it's one of those games, sort of like Dinosaur Island Raw and Right, where the size of it surprises you with how much depth and complexity the game holds, right? So as you place in your workers, I remember the first time I played it, I just figured, oh, it's going to be a light, breezy, whatever. And then 30 minutes into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. Like, this is a worker placement game that isn't like, not like on a board. It's just this grid of cards and these little figures. But oh, it's so good. I always love this one. I actually got the expansion for it as well, which adds resources and different cards. I cannot recommend this highly enough, especially because it's at such a low price point. Less than like $20 US, you can usually find this anywhere. It has gone out of print a couple of times, but Cosmos, I believe they're the current publisher. They've been done a really good job the last few years of keeping this in print, and I'm glad because more people need to play this game. It's one of those games that it's not a quick game. You're going to be there for a full 30, 45 minutes. Don't let the size surprise you. Like thinking, oh, we'll just bang this out real quick. No, you're going to be there for a while because it's a full-on game, full-on worker placement. Fantastic. Cannot recommend it highly enough. That's why it's our number 5, Targi. Or Targi. I still don't know how to say it, Chris. I'm going to go with Targi.
I say Targi mainly because I've heard it. A lot of people say Targi, right? Like, I don't know if
good enough
that's
for me.
the right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw this as well. I was like, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
And
right.
The only reason it didn't make my list is because I haven't played it, but I've heard you talk about it so much that I flanked it immediately, and I was like, yeah.
You know what we should do? I think, I don't know if you're on Board Game Arena, right, Chris? I mean, we need to play this. They have this on Board Game Arena. It's a pretty good implementation too. So we need to line up some games to play. Yeah. All right. So that's our number 5. Let's see what Richard's got in store with us. For us at number 4. Richard, let's take it away.
Okay, excellent. Targi, one of the greatest all-time worker placement games. Period. Never mind 2-player games. That made it onto our 2-player list recently, didn't it? If not, that was an oversight, but I'm sure it did, and I'm always happy to talk about it, so good choice. And Chris, Seafall, good find. I have to admit, I only ever played the first 2 missions of it when I got a chance at a Gen Con many years ago. Check out an early prototype of it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I would definitely be down. I mean, at that kind of a price, what was it, $14? Why not give it a go? I mean, I've heard lots of mixed things about it over the years. Some people think it's the greatest. Some people think it's the worst of all time. Some people at one point thought it was the greatest, but then kind of backtracked those ideas later. But again, at $15, how can you go wrong? It seems like it would definitely worth checking out. So I am liking both of those choices, and I'm also fond of number 4 on the list. Next Station London, which is an excellent roll and write, or flip and fill. There's no dice, it's cards instead. And while I haven't covered it on the channel, Tia here at TJO, she did a great job. By the way, folks, if you have not checked out Chia's channel, you will love it. If you like the Rahdo Runs Through channel, she does a phenomenal job, mostly focusing on solo run-throughs of all kinds of stuff. I cannot recommend her channel highly enough. There's going to be a link for it down in the show notes. Just links for everything we're talking about today down in the show notes. And Tia does an amazing job showing just what makes this game so special. It's one of many route-building roll and writes out there. I mean, probably Railroad Inc. is the most famous one, and I love the Railroad Inc. games too. But what makes this one stand out, and the reason it got nominated for the Spiel des Jahres and almost won, some people think it was robbed, is the fact that you are working simultaneously on 4 different colored tracks. And you have to be careful about not having the tracks cross over each other. So there's like this whole extra level of complexity that is very cool. And what was the price I found it at? $11.17 at Boardlandia. $11.17. I mean, come on. How could you not seek out one of the Spiel des Jahres nominees at that kind of price? Again, if you want to know more, check out Tia's wonderful run-through. Link for it down in the show notes. And getting down to the best stuff, folks. Back to you guys.
Okay, yeah, folks, yeah, be sure to check out Tia's channel. I watch that channel somewhat regularly. I really enjoy it. She does a fantastic job, especially with her solo run-throughs. It's great. But yeah, so next stop, London. I'm ashamed to say that I have not played it. Actually, no, wait, I take that back. I have played on BGA, and I was sort of like playing it, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I just sort of like went along, and then we finished the game. I was like, oh, I need to learn how to play this. But it has everything I like about roll and rights. It looks fantastic, and I'm interested in trying it. I will. Maybe we should play it. We should play it on BGA, Chris. There's another one to add to the list, right?
Yeah. You know what? We should have a Ruel stream of we'll have a BGA stream.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'm down,
That'd be
folks.
fun.
Keep an eye out for that live stream out here on Twitch, and then of course we'll share it on YouTube as well. So that was Rich's number 4. We're at the top 3 now, friends. This is the top 3 games of our combined list. $300 US. What 12 games we would buy? Basically, we got $100 each, 4 games each. And now, Chris, this is your top game pick. It's going to be our number 3. What do we got for us?
Our number 3. This is my most expensive. It comes in at $38.99, which puts me at $101.90, which is why I had to steal $1.90 from somebody else. But again, it was one of those things where it's a game that I've wanted to add to my collection for a little while now. A friend has it. It's a weird thing. I don't need to add it to my collection. A friend has it. I can play it with them. But I want it. I just want it because it's a good game. This is Grand Austria Hotel, $38.99 from Detective Hawk Games, which I'd never heard of. Apparently, they're a little game store in Florida, just outside of Orlando, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
So in that area. Because I looked it up. It's $38.99. I said, Grand Austria for $38.99. I've only seen it for like $70. Right.
Yep.
And so that amount of like a discount made me perk up and make me want to add it in. And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I just want it. I just like the game. I want to have a copy for myself. And it's really fun. It's from one of my favorite design teams out there. I think they also did Lorenzo, which I really enjoy.
Yes.
And like Golem and all that sort of stuff. This is fun. You roll a bunch of dice, and the amount of dice that are rolled for a certain number is the efficacy of that action. Each number corresponds with an action. On 1, you do something different. On 3, you do something different. But in that example that was up, if you see 3 threes, well, then you get to do that like 3 times. And so I think it's a really interesting way of choosing actions in terms of, okay, do I take the one thing that's only there because there's only one of it, but do I take something from the 3 section because then I get the best usage of it? And it makes everything important. And I love games where I feel like all of your actions you need to take right then. I feel like that in Lorenzo. I feel like that in Grand Austria Hotel. And it's just such a solid thing. I don't know if Detective Hawk Games has an actual store. It seems like they were only shipping. So then I also looked at their shipping, and the shipping felt reasonable. It seems like they only shipped to the US, so I was out of luck for me. But it was like $7 or $9, and then after conversion, that's when you get it to be like almost 70 Canadian, right? I'm like, oh yeah, well that's why we did it in the US. That's why we did it in the US. But still, like I looked at it, I was like, I'm still keeping it in because I like Grand Austria a lot. And it's a great game.
Yeah, you can always ship it to me or Richard, and then at the next convention we're at, we could give you the game. There you go. Yeah, you're right. This design team, they do. You mentioned Golem and Lorenzo, Il Magnifico. I love all the ways they use dice. It's very unique. That just. I think they're Italian, right? The Italian dice designers. Yeah. They're sort of somewhat casually known as brilliant stuff. And you're right. This game, I've never seen it less than like 70 US. It's always super expensive. So
always really expensive.
Yeah. To save almost half off. I mean, that's brilliant choice. Yeah. And that's what we're here for.
That's why it landed. Right?
Yeah. Then that's why we're here, folks, to show you all you can make this awesome game collection of 12 games for $300 US. And Chris, the $1.40 you went over. Don't worry about it. I got you. $1.90. Don't worry. Covered? I got you because my complete list came out to $86.40. I think it was.
Wow.
So plenty of money to play with.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, plenty of room. And I also, like you, I followed your lead here, putting my most expensive game last. And actually, it's not that expensive. I saved a couple of bucks thanks to Board Game Oracle. .com. But it wasn't like it was. It's not a super expensive game, but in the context of this list, it was for me. This is my personal number one, but it's our number two on the combined list. This is a Spiel des Jahres winner called Cascadia, and it was 28-19, which I think is a steal for this game. It is brilliant. It's probably my favorite tile laying game at the moment. It's Michelle and I loved it. Our friends and family enjoyed it. You are building a little tableau of your Pacific South Northwest. You got different terrains. You have different animals that go on those terrains, and you're eventually trying to score points based on the animals. There are different scoring conditions, which I think is such a great move on this game. You start with the basic scoring, like hawks cannot be adjacent to each other. Fish go, do a run of salmon. Bears, you start with bears and pairs, so every pair of bears you get points. But then as you dive deeper into the game, you can swap those out for different conditions. Elks may score in like little groups, bears may score in, triplets or whatever. And then on top of that, Chris, what I love too, now I haven't actually played it, but I know that a lot of people do, and this is great. I love when games do this. They include a family variant. So all these scoring conditions, you take those out, and they just have this one card that gives you very basic scoring. And it's a great way to get, younger gamers or new gamers into the flow of things. They understand these, because there are some things that, can be a bit much for, newer gamers, such as not only you're trying to score animals, you're trying to score terrains. So that you're juggling two things. Like, I want all of my forests together. I want all my mountains together, etc. Oh, wait, I need these animals. And then you throw in the nature tokens. Hey, if you place a animal that matches a keystone, the one that has a little triangle on it, you get a nature token. That allows you to bypass the main rule, which is you draft a pair of tiles, a tile and an animal. You have to draft those two together. But using a nature token, you can start swapping those. Hey, I want this one with this one instead. Oh, it's such a brilliant design. I love this from the moment I got it. And I was so happy when Randy Flynn won Spiel des Jahres, because for me, there was no other game deserving. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that. There was no other game for me that should have won the Spiel. And I'm so glad they did. It's an absolute brilliant game. And they have an expansion coming out. Maybe next year when we do this list, you can put that expansion all by itself, Chris. Who knows?
That's true.
But yeah, that's
the Landmarks expansion.
Exactly. Yeah. It's going to be good. I got a sneak peek at it at Gen Con. It's more of the good stuff, nice. Folks. Yeah, it's great. So that's why it's our number two, Cascadia.
Yeah, solid pick. Like, it hits really well. I just played Verdant this summer.
Oh.
I feel like I like Verdant more than Cascadia.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a hot take. But it's a hot take that I'm happy to make.
Yeah, I
like Cascadia. Like, it's still great.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that as well. I really enjoyed Verdant, and it's definitely crunchier and stinkier than Cascadia for sure. And I do love it.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, and I think for me, Cascadia has that nice point of like it's stinky but not too stinky. And for me, that means it'll be easier to get to the table. With my main playing partner Michelle. She likes casual Gateway Plus games. And we actually know we did enjoy Verdant. Why didn't I put this on the list? I know. I'm going with Cascadia. I'm not going to overthink it. I really enjoy it.
No, Cascadia is probably cheaper.
Yeah, that's it. That might be it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our number one for the list. Richard's got it. Let's see what he's got to say. Take it away, Richard.
Oh, nice choice. Again, Ruel, you are 4 for 4, and Cascadia, a no-brainer, definitely deserving of all the kudos and awards it's won over the year. And Chris, I take back everything I said earlier in this video. An excellent choice. Grand Austria Hotel is one of the all-time Euro greats. And especially for folks who don't know, the Let's Waltz expansion introduced an alternate way that you can have the turn order structure. So it's not the snake turn order, which can make you really, at a high player count, end up having to wait a long time between turns. It was hugely improved. You don't have to pick up the Let's Waltz expansion. You can apply the new rules to the original game, and it makes an already phenomenal game even better. Just figured I should mention that for folks who don't know, or who maybe played Grand Austria Hotel and said, boy, I really liked it, except for the incredibly long wait between turns. So, that was fixed, and those are excellent choices, but they pale in comparison to our communal number one, which is Jaws of the Lion, which I could not believe I found on Cool Stuff Inc. for $21.59, which is a bit bit lower than normal, but it's always been an incredibly one of the best value propositions in board gaming, quite frankly. Now, the full title of this is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Gloomhaven is my number 3 highest ranked game of all time, but Gloomhaven is a terrifying game to approach. It has an incredibly long rule book, so many deep, complex Byzantine rules that you really have to learn to be able to appreciate the brilliance of this cooperative dungeon crawl. But what makes Jaws of the Lion a spin-off, basically a Gloomhaven 1.5, is that it introduces you to all the core concepts of the game in what has got to be the greatest tutorial system that we have ever seen in board gaming. And really, all publishers should study how Cephalofair Games put this together to make one of the most complex, daunting, terrifying games to learn incredibly easy to learn while giving you all the absolutely amazing cooperative dungeon crawliness. And at this price, how could you not include it on a list? One of the greatest co-ops of all time, and one of the greatest value propositions at $21.59. Number 1 on the list for me, it had to be Jaws of the Lion.
Yeah, that's pretty much a no-brainer. That was a great call, Richard. I've been talking about it all list long. So much bang for your buck. I mean, there's something that they took Gloomhaven, shrunk it down, but made it a lot more accessible. And I've started my Jaws of the Lion campaign, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got what you want as far as jumping into that big world without committing to the big box experience, right? Yeah. So, Chris, any thoughts?
I'm still working on convincing my girlfriend Renee to jump into that with me, because I've only played Gloomhaven. I haven't played Jaws of the Lion.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, I feel like this would be a good one for us to play together, and so I'm just waiting for my moment to strike.
There it is.
And yeah, fantastic price for it. Like, so much value, right? You get so many campaigns, you get so many game sessions,
right?
On the backs of a system that was number 1 on Board Game Geek for like 5 years. You know,
exactly.
Like it's
and I think the great thing
it'll hit.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about it too is the fact that you play it, and if you really get into it, then you've got Frosthaven, you've got Gloomhaven waiting for you if you really want to dive deeper into it. But rather than committing right away, I'm going to buy Frosthaven, and you play, it's like, oh, it's not for me. You're out a couple $100, right? Whereas with Jaws of the Lion, it's a lot more accessible, and it's not going to break your bank account, right? If it's not for you, okay, you've only spent a certain amount of money rather than hundreds of dollars, right? So
that's part of the reason why I was really happy when Gloomhaven got dethroned by Brass Birmingham on BGG as number 1, because it's happened more than once that people have been like, oh, board games, and like starting to get interested in board gaming, and then they've gone to BGG and they're like, well, what's the number 1 game? Gloomhaven. Okay, I should probably get that, right?
Yeah.
And I've had to be like, well, okay, just like slow down for a second. Like it's gonna be big. It's gonna be a big investment. But like I've had that. I think that's the reason my friend Josh gave me Gloomhaven for a Christmas gift or a birthday gift one year.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's the reason. Like that's the reason. Like it's the number 1 game.
Nice.
That's the one for you, right? And so I was like, great. And so he and I like started playing it, and he doesn't play a lot of games, so like he hasn't been that into it. And so that's where my Gloomhaven like experience has kind of tailed off, because I want to play it with him because like he bought it for me.
Yeah.
But I think Jaws of the Lion also solves that immensely in terms of being accessible and not being so overwhelming to like new players. I would rather Jaws of the Lion was number 1 over Gloomhaven. So I would be like, oh, that's a Gloomhaven I should get first, right?
Exactly.
And then as like more knowledgeable gamers, you'd know the difference. But when you don't know, right, going into it, it's
right.
Yeah, so great pick.
Yeah, great pick. And I know that Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion has been rising up in the rankings of BGG, so it's nice to see that getting the recognition it deserves.
Oh yeah, it's like 5. It's like number 5.
It's right up there. Okay, great. So, folks, that's our top 12 games for $300. Let us know what you thought should have been on the list in the comments below. And, Chris, thanks again. Another fantastic show. Always wonderful talking to games with you, my friend. And I
agree.
Yeah, always a good time. And until next time, folks, we'll see you later. That's the R&R Show, episode 71. Take care. See you later. So long. Bye-bye. And hello, we are back. Woo!
No, we're back.
We are
can
back.
Hang out with chat.
Yes, chat. Thank you for hanging out. We are back here to talk about all the games you thought should be on the list. But also, we're going to be sharing games that didn't make our top 12. We have, Richard's got a bunch that he's got thoughts, and we're going to share those thoughts with y'all in just a second. But anything happening in chat, I want to thank Board Game TV for rating. Thank you for Raiders for sticking around while Chris and I ignore you and tape the show. But we are here. We're looking at you. You are seen and you are valued. Thank you, friends, for being here today. Really appreciate y'all. Let's see. So people are talking. I love that people are lining up games on BGA in chat as we talk. That's great.
Yeah.
Foglight, Z for one, N9717, B Travis. Good to see y'all here. And Slivers, thank you for hanging out. And why don't we get to what we're going to do? This is the extended the post show, and we're going to get to Richard's list, and then Chris and I. Chris, do you want to share some games from your list as well?
Can let Richard go first.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. And folks, here we go. So you're watching the extended on YouTube. Welcome, and we're going to see what Richard has to say about the games that didn't make his list.
Okay, everybody. Bear with me, I couldn't help myself. This was such a fun exercise. I actually made a spreadsheet of about 50 games that I absolutely love, wrote down the prices, made some formulas so I could just say, what about that one, that one, that one, and that one? And I just did it over and over again. And while I'm very happy with the 4 I gave you, what was it? Earth, Nemalia, Next Station London, and Jaws of the Lion. That's 4 amazing games for under $100. I had 3 other strong contenders I wanted to put as my portion of this list. So I'm just going to run them through really quick right now to give you some alternates. Remember, each one of these sets of 4 comes in at under $100. So how about Jump Drive, which is basically Race for the Galaxy Express, one of my favorite modern designer card games of all time, plus Free Radicals. I feel like I've talked about this enough. 10 games, 10 great Euro games in one box, plus Fantastic Factories, a phenomenal dice-driven engine-building game, plus Kokoro, Avenue of the Kodama, which is basically a remake of an earlier roll and write called Avenue, which I would have put on my main list, except I couldn't quite get it under the 100, and I love it to pieces. It's maybe the greatest roll and write route building game there is, period. Avenue, or its spin-off, Kokoro, Avenue of the Kodama. But that's one bundle. You want another one, folks? How about Wind the Film, an absolutely brilliant hand management card game that does the Bonanza style first in, first out card stuff better than just about any other game, including Bonanza, plus Star Trek Missions, or if you prefer, Marvel Remix or Fantasy Realms. Any of those 3 games, all of them using the same system. It's just a question of whether you prefer fantasy or Star Trek Next Gen or Marvel superheroes. Any of them are great. Plus Subdivision, one of my favorite tile laying games of all time that is sadly overlooked and really one of the best. It was the sequel to Suburbia, and it kind of never got out of the shadow of Suburbia, but I think it's better than Suburbia. And finally, Wild Tiled West, the new hotness. This might make it into my top 10 for 2023 as well. It's an absolutely phenomenal tile laying game. I love it to pieces. But then I've got one more bundle for you. One more 4 to go, which would be The Crew Mission Deep Sea, which I'm surprised. I figured one of the other guys was going to put that on their list because there's so much gameplay in this cooperative trick-taking game for pennies. It was less than $10. But anyway, it made it into one of my lists, plus Zapotec. I know Ruel loves it as much as me. Such a brilliant game. So much crunchy Euro-y goodness in a tight package that you can get done in under an hour, plus Funfair. Chris, that one's for you. I know you love Unfair, but Funfair is superior because why would you want to be un when you could be fun? Such a brilliant card tableau game about making wide varieties of combo-laden amusement park rides. And then finally, Wingspan! Wingspan, probably one of the most influential and, consequential and greatest engine building card games of the last decade. It is a true masterpiece, and that was a bundle of 4 more. Oh, I could do this all day, folks, but I'm going to end it right there and throw it back to the guys.
Wow, lots of great games there, Richard. I really like those bundles. I can't find fault with any of those. There was a lot of great deals, a lot of great games. Now, the Wingspan one, though, I feel like Isn't that like 50 US or so? I don't know. I didn't check it on Board Game Oracle. I felt like that was
it depends.
on.
Right?
Yeah. Why do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Check it
Yeah,
live.
see,
Yeah,
just
Board
see
Game
what
Oracle. Because I thought about that, but I didn't put it on there. And it's got that. How much was it? 49.
44.99.
Okay, that's not too
45.
bad. Yeah.
I think that was around the same price as Earth.
Okay.
Or maybe Earth was a little bit higher too, right? I've always touted Wingspan as being like a really really good value pick, right?
Yeah.
Because again, it's one of those games similar to Earth where you get so much in the box where you're like, yeah, I'm really satisfied with the amount of stuff that I got in here.
Yeah.
Production quality is always good. But
right. And it's Stonemaier Games. Their quality is going to be excellent. And, for $44, you get that Bird Feeder Dice Tower. I mean, come on. That's the best thing ever. I love that.
Yeah, B. Travis is saying that Wingspan was on sale at Target last Christmas for $38 US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Target has some really good sales. Like if you get in on their buy two, get one free.
Oh, totally.
That's always a good sale that you can wait. And Target in the States, so good for board games.
Yeah, we love it here. Oh, you know what? I just thought so. Target. So I think that's how you say Target, because you don't say Target, you don't say Target, right?
That's true. You don't say Target. That's it.
There it is, folks.
That's exactly.
We just figured out the mystery. So I was trying to figure out what game. Okay, so my list. What games are along those lines? So Zapotec would have been one of mine.
Nice.
Richard says I love that game. Again, Euro goodness, and I've got a pug barking in the background. This is the beauty of doing live streaming, folks. Meeple, what do you want, baby? Come on. You want to say hi to everyone online?
Yeah. Yes, we do. We want that.
Now she's shy.
Want it.
Come here, baby. Come here. So Meeple is here. Mookie's in the other room. He's sleeping. Meeple, I don't know. She probably wants to eat. She needs a snack, but it's almost snack time, baby. Oh, here goes Mookie. Mookie, you want to say hi to everyone? Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we'll get it eventually.
We'll get it eventually, folks. Other games for me. He also had Fantastic Factories. That was on my list as well. Actually, I didn't do another bundle for 100. I just put a bunch of games that I thought would fit on this list.
You're considering,
yeah,
we're good deals.
Good value.
I have 12 more as well.
Okay.
I like that Subdivision was on there. That Subdivision intrigues me because I really enjoy Suburbia.
Right.
But I've only heard that Subdivision wasn't that good. So
that's what I heard too.
Never really considered it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
So hearing that makes me excited because I really really enjoy Suburbia. So if Subdivision is better, then pretty good. So I've got a bunch of stuff here that were close but didn't quite make it. But I think would be really good, probably better than the 12 that Richard selected. So I'll just run through them really quickly. I have Viticulture, the Tuscany portion of it.
Yep.
I have Scythe, Rise of Fenris. I have Wingspan, the European cards. Pandemic, On the Brink. Twilight Imperium, Shattered Empire. We've got Lost Ruins of Arnak, the Expedition Leaders expansion. We've got Terra Mystica, specifically Terra Mystica Fire and Ice.
Okay.
That one's pretty good. Seven Wonder Cities. That would be good. Star Wars Rebellion Rise of the Empire. So just that expansion.
Yeah.
Carcassonne expansion number 1. Inns and Cathedrals. Have I hit 12 expansions yet?
It seems like you have. That's a lot of expansions.
Riverfolk expansion. Yeah, so any of those I feel like would be pretty good to be on the list.
Absolutely.
That's what I would contemplating. But
good stuff.
We got what we got.
Oh, that's fantastic. From those games there, we had you talk about Pandemic On the Brink. I was surprised that I thought this one was going to be on Richard's list for sure. The Pandemic, the smaller pandemics, the hot zones, because those are usually under 20 US. And I actually it just missed my list, Pandemic Hot Zone Europe, which is, those Pandemic just shrunk down to a 30-minute game, a very small board. And I know he's a big fan of there was Pandemic Hot Zone Europe and then Pandemic Hot Zone North America. You smash those together, and all of a sudden it becomes a really good 2-player game. He said that him and Jen love.
Cool.
So I haven't done that yet. I do have both those games, but I have yet to do that, and hopefully I will do soon. Other games that I threw out, I thought we were gonna throw some Knizias on here, Chris. I thought for sure we're gonna have some Knizias. Well, we did it.
We
You
gave
know,
him a break.
We did. He needed a break. The good doctor does enough. He's too busy creating a bunch of games. But Lost Cities is always a great value. That's usually under 20 US, I believe. Lost Cities. What's the other one? I actually put down Ingenious. It's an abstract tile laying game that he did many years ago, which I love. And it was one of the more expensive games on my list, $28.47. But here's the thing, folks. I'm gonna give you a little secret. Well, I don't know if it's a secret, but they're gonna come in with a new printing of Ingenious, I believe from Cosmos as well. So I don't know if that's one's gonna be on sale or the old one's gonna be on sale. So keep an eye on that. I highly recommend Ingenious. It's a great tile laying abstract game. So keep an eye out for that. King Domino, the Bruno Cathala game. I think King Domino is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's always dirt cheap. It's 15 US or so. I actually prefer King Domino Origins, which is sort of like the cave, the prehistoric theme, because it's got a little more scoring stuff going on. But either one's a great choice for getting under the $300 mark. But yeah, lots of different games we can do here. I mean, like Richard, I'm sure we could talk about this all game. I had to mention Cartographers too. I thought about that one as my roll and write pick, but I ended up going with Dinosaur Rar and Write. There's a bonus Rar for you folks. Yeah,
that is a bonus.
Yeah,
a better pick.
I prefer the Rar and Write as well. Rar and Write over Cartographers, but they're both really solid. For deck building, I didn't get a deck building game in. I don't. Yeah, did I get it? No, I did not get a deck building. But the one I would recommend, Chris, is Shards of Infinity. That one, same price point as Star Realms, like 15 US, no more than 20 US, but it's a better Star Realms. It's crunchier, it's faster, and it's, I mean, it's, I know it's not for Richard because it's a one-on-one battle, but I like that type of stuff. And Star Realms, I love Star Realms, but Shards of Infinity takes it to the next level. It has a bit more going on. It actually has 2 currencies that you take care of. So your money, and then you have a thing called, I think, the shards or whatever it's called. You track that as well. So it's got a little more depth to it, but fantastic, quick playing deck building game that I definitely recommend. What else? I seriously had like 2 dozen. I don't want to talk about them all, but I'll talk about the highlights there. Yeah.
I will say that even going through, I clearly just went to Board Game Oracle and I filtered expansions and then was reading the list.
Yeah.
But I was skipping. I skipped anything Terraforming Mars.
Oh, did you really?
Always feel. Well, yeah, I feel like even in a joke sort of list, I feel like their expansions are just always so expensive to me compared to like what I want them to be. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I get
right.
it. I get that they're $20 and like. But it's $20 for 2 maps,
Yeah.
Give it to me for 10. Give it to me for 10.
There you go.
Just do it.
Now, I should say this. So they have a Kickstarter going on right now for the new Terraforming Mars Automa.
Yeah, Prelude 2.
Yeah, Prelude 2.
And
the solo. Someone may have done a run-through for the channel. That's going to be out real soon, folks. And I'm going to tell you, that Automa, it's the real deal. It's so good. Have you played the base game solo, Chris, Terraforming Mars?
I haven't.
Okay.
No. I really don't play a lot solo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the solo game, it's not bad. It's it's got your pretty standard play, but the bummer about the solo game Terraforming Mars is milestones and awards are not in the game because there was no way to do that in the solo game.
Right.
But thanks to Nick Shaw and David Turchi, there is now those come back in Automa, and it's an actual, like, you have these different tracks. Oh, it's good. It's like really playing against another player now. It's fantastic.
Cool.
And
nice.
And it's cool because you'll see I don't want to spoil everything, but the one thing you can do in Terraforming Mars, like sort of hate draft or deny draft because someone needs this card.
Yeah.
You can do that on the Automa now. It's fun. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want the Automa to take that on cake in this card, but yeah. So something to look forward to, folks, real soon here on the Ronald Runsford channel.
That's awesome.
Pod Nugget is here, our first time chatter. Thank you, Pod Nugget, for joining us. Says, is Rano ever on the Ronald Runsford channel? I've never seen him. Yeah, he is. He's joined us through the magic of video. He still does a ton of video stuff. Every now and then we'll do live stuff, but just because of his schedule, workload, and stuff, Chris and I take the R&R show and have him join us via video because the timing just doesn't work out these days. But yeah, he's still here. Don't worry.
And timing, that sort of thing. But
he's still here, folks.
He
Yeah.
likes to he very much likes to see our lists too
Yeah.
before so that he can
Yeah.
respond to them as well.
I think he just wants to talk trash about Chris's list and not have to deal with the repercussions of that. Live.
Yeah. But I think that makes it better.
Yeah, yeah.
I like when he does.
I love that. Yeah. And it was funny
I
too.
like it. I like it. It's okay. I like it.
It gives him the chance to make the little Chris is wrong, title at the bottom
Yeah,
there, I guess.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah. We've got about 10 minutes left, folks. If you have any questions, comments,
Yeah.
throw them in chat. We'll chat. AMA, ask us anything, and well, we may not answer it, but we'll
I'll
chat.
answer.
Okay, Chris will answer,
I'll
folks.
answer.
This is your
And
one
I'll answer
chance.
on behalf of anyone. And
Yeah.
if Ruel won't
Yeah.
answer it, I'll answer. And
Ask me,
tell
and
you what
Chris will
Ruel
answer for you. Yeah.
wouldn't say. Yeah, 100%.
And vice
Um,
versa. Ask something about
Yeah.
to Chris, and I will answer
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
I'm excited though. After this, I'm gonna go play test a game with my neighbor, who's a
Oh.
game designer. He's had a couple things signed, but we're both going over to Eric Lang's house to
Wait.
test something.
You know Eric Lang? What?
I don't, but I'm gonna.
That's
My
okay.
neighbor knows him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
tell Eric Ruel said hi. I got to
I
hang
will.
out. Yeah, I do know him. It was last week or the week before. He was in Southern California taking care of business, and we got to meet up.
Oh, cool.
And Chris, I think you're going to play test the same game I play tested with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool. Okay.
total
we'll have
NDA
to-
stuff. We cannot talk about it here,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it was fun. That's all I'll say. It was
Oh,
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm excited. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll let you know. I'll ask him if it was the same one.
Hopefully
But,
it is.
I'm very excited, and I'm like steeling myself to not be starstruck. Like I don't get starstruck that much.
Yeah.
But like I respect Eric Lang so much.
Yeah.
Who's watching this right now, and he knows. Like that would be the most. Honestly, if he was, I wouldn't show up. I'd be too embarrassed. But I respect him so much. Like Rising Sun is my favorite game of all
Right,
time. Like,
yeah.
I love his designs. I love his approach to gaming as well, in terms of like creating a framework where there can be that like above the table interaction.
Yeah.
I think he does that like really, really well. And but by providing the framework, and then it's the players that bring the spice to it.
Yes.
So I'm really thrilled.
I'm
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you
And-
too. I know
We
that
live in the
feeling.
same city. We're both in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm a huge Blood Rage fan. So meeting him for the first time, I was
Yeah.
totally fanboying out. But he's so down to earth and he's so kind.
We're all
and
just people, right?
yeah, we really are. And he's funny, dude. Like he in person, he is so funny and witty. You're gonna. I'm super excited for you. You guys are gonna have the best time. But yeah. Quick question here from B Travis.
Yeah.
This is a good one. B Travis says, I just got a big box of AEG games today from a few Kickstarters. Have either of you
Nice.
played Fit to Print yet? That's the one I'm most eager to play. I have.
Have you played it, Ruel?
I have.
Yeah, I feel like you have. I haven't, but I read through the rule book, and
Yeah.
it's a polyomino.
Yeah.
You're woodland creatures in a newspaper
Yeah.
business, right?
Yeah. I remember reading the description, and you had me at newspapers and polyominoes. So before many, many moons ago, I was in journalism school, and I was actually on a path. This is funny. My path was going to be going into sports writing. I was,
cool.
Yeah, I was sports editor of my college paper, and that was the path. I was getting lined up with the LA Times, and I decided, Chris, my last year, I was like, I don't want to spend any more time in locker rooms. It was just I was done with it. But
Yeah.
in another lifetime, anyways. But yeah, Fit to Print was fantastic. It's got a real-time element where you are frantically trying to line up the polyominoes because, hey, it's deadline time. You got to get that paper out. But then it's got this really cool thing where if you don't, it depends. Like you have to decide how many pieces you want to place on your board before you actually place them. So it's sort of like a guessing game. Oh, I think I have this much space left. It's really clever. Very good game. So it's Peter McPherson, the designer of Tiny Towns and what's the other one? Wormholes. I love Tiny Towns. I know Richard does too. I'm pretty sure you're a fan as well.
Yeah, I think it's Renee likes it more. My girlfriend Renee likes it more than me, but I still think it's really solid. Like,
yeah, it's
Tiny
solid,
Towns,
right?
really solid, right?
Yeah. And Wormholes was okay to me. It was a pick up and deliver game. It didn't hit with me and Michelle as much, but Fit to Print for me personally, Peter McPherson is back. I mean, this is a fantastic game. Yeah, it's so
you
good.
should be excited, Pete Travis. Like I would be. I think it looks good too. I hope you enjoy it. You'll
Yeah.
have to let us know on.
Yeah, let us know,
if
B. Travis. Thank you for sharing
you're
that.
playing it.
We've got a few more minutes. Any other questions or comments, folks? Feel free to drop them in. Chris, we've got about 2 weeks until we see each other for tacos and games as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Maybe
what
games?
it's basically
you'll get to play games.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to be. Oh man, yeah. I just realized. Yeah, you're going to be running around doing all kinds of stuff, not playing games. Oh man, good luck with that.
But I'll see you in passing. I'll go.
Yeah.
No, I'll run.
Okay. I'll be back. I'm going to go get tacos. See you, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some stuff. So I'm going to be playing games, but I'm also going to be announcing. I know I'm announcing with Paula Deming. I don't know. Am I supposed to be spoiling this, or can I not?
Yeah. You can announce you'll be Red Cathedral, right?
Red Cathedral, yeah. Which is
that'll
one of
be
the best.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yep.
On Dice Tower. We're streaming everything over on Dice Tower's network.
Right. So, okay, thanks. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to spoil or not, but yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah,
Paula's fantastic, folks. And if you don't watch Paula Deming, I mean, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Like, go check out Things Get Dicey on YouTube. She's just so brilliantly talented. And
very funny.
Yeah, Red Cathedral, one of the best, at least for me, that weight of Eurogame in the last 5-6 years, one of the best ones released out there. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to call it with her. I'm actually going to be practicing it because I want to get back into it. I haven't played in about a year and a half. So I need to play it again just so I remember all the terminology and things. And I'm going full sportscaster mode. It's like, I don't know about that playing Apollo. What do you think about that?
That's what we want. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm fully
nice
leaning into it.
Yeah, to see everybody's different personalities in terms of how they commentate, right? But it is like it's an event. Like it's like poker, you know what I mean? The poker commentator. I was watching some poker commentary the other day, and they were all just doing like the worst jokes, but they say it with such confidence. I'm like, oh yeah, that is the style. They're like I don't want to sit on that one. if the person's name is like Sitan or whatever, they're like just trying to pun everything, like no matter what.
I love it. Well, I do have some dad jokes I'm saving for World Series of Board Gaming, and I'm just trying to. I will be following Paula's lead because she is a consummate professional. She's awesome. So I hope to fill in a few funny comments here and there and some good, insightful commentary. We shall see, but I am looking forward to it, Chris. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
She's a great rules strategy tips series that WSBG sponsored, and they're very good. My favorite is her Wingspan one, though. If you haven't seen that, you should go. Watch it. It's exactly my kind of stupid comedy. It just made me howl like nobody's business because she does. Oh, it's just very good. I won't spoil it. Go watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
So good. Yeah. I highly recommend Paula's channel. Okay, friends. That's going to do it. Why don't we get ready to raid? Chris, any final thoughts as I set up the raid here? We've got...
No.
Okay.
I think just thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's always lovely hanging out with you all. And we'll see you next week. I think we're doing one next week, next Tuesday. We're back to Tuesday.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Because
Twitch Tuesdays sound better than Twitch Mondays.
Exactly. I'm all about alliteration.
Would be so mad.
Exactly. Thanks again, friends, for joining us. Stick around for the raid. You get extra bonus Rahdo points which you can spend here on the channel. We're going to raid over to Benita K. She is playing board games. I'm not sure what board game she is. I think it's a new one, though, but we're going to go over the raid. Say hi to Benita for us. And until next time, folks, have a wonderful week. Take care. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
See ya.
And let's see if we rated. Boo boo doo doo doo. We have.
Yep.
We have rated. I am stopping.